Okay. Hello, good afternoon, class. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Hey, I can see only 12, including myself and the host. Where are the rest? Priscilla, since you responded.
All right, madam, please let me prompt them so they join.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, like I said last week, we want to finish our class today, but then we will still have our face-to-face meeting, God willing, next week. And so today's class, I'm going to use one stone to kill two birds. They are quite brief. The both topics. We will look at agric development in Africa and then gender, marriage, and family system in Africa. So these are two different topics, but then, like I said, they are very brief, so I'll be able to manage. I'll use 1 hour for each of the topics. And then because we have presentation next week, we can discuss further on these topics because the presentations are going to dwell on these two topics, and I think the leadership. So group 4, group 5, and group 6, I hope you are preparing towards your presentation God willing, next week. So today, you pardon me. I know today's discussion will call for more questions, but we will meet face to face next week and we will still tackle these topics. So if you have further questions that we are unable to address today, kindly note them down. God willing, next week when we meet face to face, then we will deal with all those topics. Thank you very much. Uh, we won't wait because we have a lot to do. Yes, today we want to look at agricultural development in Africa, and it is also one of the touching topics because we all need food to survive. Hey, but it looks as if we have, how do I put it? We don't want to be part of this agricultural activity to develop this sector, probably because we certain perceptions that it is not meant for us to do so. We are scholars. We are supposed to sit in an air-conditioned office and then work. So agric is not never part of us. But today I'm here to tell you that yes, we all need to be part of this activity, agricultural activity, so that we can develop it. Because, like I said, we all need food to survive. When we finish developing our apps, when we finish using the technology, what comes next is for you to find something to eat. A hungry man is an angry man. Without food, we all cannot survive and work. So this is a time has come for us to change that perception that agricultural activity is for those in the rural folks and it is for the aged. I think in modern times, it is never so. Now we even need more of our scholars, the learned people to come in, okay, with their ideas, and especially those of you from the ICT background, IT, we need you more to develop this sector. So today, please bear in mind, if there should be a question I want to ask, is what can you do as an IT person to help develop agriculture sector? How do we integrate IT? Like all the other topics, how do we integrate technology to ensure these, sectors improve? When do we bring technology in? So quickly, let's look at our objectives for this afternoon. This section, we want to achieve these objectives. That at the end of this session, learners will be able to examine the meaning, the scope, and the historical development of agriculture in Africa. Explain the importance. Are there some importance? Are there some benefits we can derive from this area? Yes. Explain the importance of agriculture to African economies. Discuss the challenges or constraints to agricultural development in Africa, and then discuss contemporary agricultural development in Africa. But then we will also look at it from our own perspective as Ghanaians. Africa is largely agriculture. We are blessed with natural resources. We have the soil. We have what it takes to develop the sector. And so from time immemorial, it has been a way of surviving. Okay, our economy, we depend so much on agriculture. And so you realize that the majority of the population derive their income from farming still. Huh. It employs about 64% of the population of those in sub-Saharan Africa and generates about 34% of the GDP. And with this, majority of the poor living in the rural areas. The poor, most of them are living in the rural areas, and most of them, even though they are still poor, they still derive their income and they are able to survive based on this agricultural activity. It has been estimated that more than 239 million people in sub-Saharan Africa suffer hunger. And I was trying to, though government from these sub-Saharan countries are trying their best, falling on the international donors, World Bank. Sometimes we even go for loans and financial aids to improve. It is still on records that some people or most people still suffer from hunger in sub-Saharan Africa. And I try to come home looking at Ghana. Do we still have people suffering from hunger in Ghana? And he says that yes, Ghana is facing significant hunger crisis, really, with approximately 2 million people experiencing extreme hunger, a number that is nearly doubled since 2024. And so, yes, probably where we stand, we are able to feed ourselves. We are able to afford 3 square meals, okay? Breakfast, lunch, and then supper. But on record, some people can barely afford their 3 square meals. Some people do only two. So what they do is there's nothing like breakfast. They eat in between meals. So instead of breakfast, instead of lunch, the person will wait and then eat in between so that it will carry him till the day. And then in the evening, if he is able to find something. So seriously, those of us we are able to afford, we are blessed, but a lot are also suffering from hunger. And some of the factors can be the climate change we are experiencing. Yes, you see, we are experiencing climate change. Apart from the fact that there are some perceptions that agriculture is for the aged and those in the rural areas, and most people wouldn't want to venture into that business or that sector. Climate change is also contributing significantly now to the hunger we are experiencing, not only in sub-Saharan Africa, but also in Ghana. We have about 39% of the population who lives less than $3 a day, which is very serious. And then the other factor is that we also waste food. The reason some people are suffering from hunger in Ghana is one of them is what? Wastage of food. We waste food. When the food is in its season, we are unable to store them. We do not have the industry, the factories to can them, to pack them, So you go to market and if it is tomatoes, watermelon, oh, the wastage is too much. You go to the rural areas where they harvest these, foodstuffs, and because of poor roads, most of them, go waste. So the waste is also too much in Ghana. Ghana discards about 84 kilogram of food per person annually, per person, while many struggle to access food. So whilst others are trying to access food, some individuals are also wasting food. But I think it's a sin. Oh. It's a sin to throw food away. Just throw food away, or yes, because some people suffer. So if you realize that you will not be able to consume what you will prepare and you will just go and throw it away, it's a sin. Find someone around and then give it to the fellow. I wish we would have a food bank. So IT is it is a call. We need an app, okay, food bank. I think one of my students did something of that sort previous years. We need food bank where people, instead of throwing their food away or wasting food, they can send it there because, of course, we will also get some people who are going hungry to, go and fetch such food. And then here too, the reason we are suffering, some people are suffering from Ghana is also as a result of what? The influx of refugees from neighboring countries and then the economic instability. But then I think government is trying, our government past and previous and even the sitting government, they are all trying their best to ensure that there is food. And I'm very sure that I'm going to enjoy the Christmas because there will be influx of what? Chicken, the chicken that government is urging people to come for and then raise. By all means, we will see we will get the evidence. We will get more chicken to eat during the week, Christmas. So yes, food wastage, economic crisis, climate change are all contributing to the food hunger in Ghana, not only in Ghana, but in Africa. And like I said, the government are also trying their best to address such issues. Quickly, let's look at the meaning and scope of agriculture. Agriculture is derived from two Latin words, ager and cultura, which together means tilling the land or working the soil in order to produce something. And that something is what we can eat. That something is edible, okay? It is simply defined as the production of crops and animals for the use of what? Mankind. Now we've gone beyond that because a lot of activities are coming into for us to define agriculture as the practice of cultivating land, growing crops, and raising livestock to produce food, to produce fiber, and other products essential for human life. So the other products are many. Okay, it also involves you preparing the soil, planting seeds, bringing in the irrigation. And here, irrigation, IT, take note, we need irrigation. So if you ask AI right now, how do we integrate technology to get irrigation or to get proper irrigation for farming activities? You get one, and then you can study it and also build something of that sort for us because we need them. And then it also involves harvesting, processing crops, as well as what? Breeding and caring for animals. The processing is where the problem is, where we are able to, the value chain comes when we are able to change the raw materials, okay, to a finished end product that will last for long. And that is where we have, we have problem. So Adequate and Co define this as what? The science or technology and practice of growing crops and raising animals for food and other purposes. So it's not only about raising poultry and then other like goats and the rest. But now fishery, grass cutter railing, snail railing, and all those are part of the agricultural activities. I think all of us, if one of us, each and every one of us is picking something small to do. Probably you are not doing it to acquire money, okay, to earn money, but then you are doing it to feed your family. It will help. If we are doing it small in our own small ways, it will help. I started preaching this long time ago. Anytime I tackle this topic, I try urging our students to please, let's do something like backyard farming. Okay, doing something to feed yourself and your immediate family will help solve the problem because there wouldn't be too much pressure uh, in the market on those products that are being sold in the market. If this community, we have about 5 houses or families, and then each and everyone is doing something small. Instead of me going to the market to buy that particular food, I already have it to feed my family. Another person is also doing something small, so the pressure will reduce. And once it reduces, it means the cost will also what? Will reduce. So let's all get involved. And those who want to go into it, Today we will talk about it extensively because it is not only you tilling the land and then doing the farming, but then you can also invest your money. You can also invest. Some people invest their monies and then all these are important because it helps us to improve the sector. And at the end of the day, we will get food, much food to eat. Historical development of agriculture in Africa. Agriculture is the oldest occupation of mankind, and it started when people found that the food around their immediate dwelling places was being exhausted and that they had to travel long distances to obtain food. People earlier on were not living under any shelter. They will only move around if they come across a tree or any tree that is giant, and or sometimes even stones, mountains, caves, and they will be able to find shelter. They just live there, dwell there. And then when they realize that the food around them, they will eat, of course, the food around them is what they will use to survive. They will eat. And when they realize that it is getting exhausted, then they have to move on looking and searching for food. Okay, but then the idea of agriculture came to mind when they realized that the food, you will be walking around and around and around, and then you realize that the food where you dwell, the food is exhausted. What next? You move on, it gets exhausted. You move on, it gets exhausted. Then the idea came that why don't you settle and then do farming so that you'll be able to survive? Okay, so it is the oldest occupation, like I said, and it came to mind when people realized that the food around their immediate dwelling places was being exhausted and that they had to travel long distances to obtain food. It has evolved through nomadic agriculture of gathering fruits in the wild and hunting, and then to the large-scale mechanized farming using advanced technology developed through research. So what then is the nomadic? Is the first stage. The nomadic farming is the stage where the earlier people gathered wild fruits, trapped fish, and then wild animals for food. They used caves and other tools to, do that. Stones, pointed sticks, and sharpened bones were used for killing, carving, and skimming wild animals to eat. So that is the first stage when you talk about agricultural development. Okay, it started at this stage where the early people will only gather food around them, and then they will use these simple tools to prepare the food that they find. Then it's developed into, or it's evolved into another thing called the settled farming. During this era, fire for heating and cooking was discovered. Okay, so the bows, arrows, slings, and harpoons were used as weapons for hunting animals and protecting humans. The common tools used then were digging sticks, hoes, sickles, and milling stones, which we have seen some of them. So from the nomadic where they only move around and gather food, and then to a point where they decided to settle, and this time they were able to, find fire, or had an idea of using fire to rather cook and then eat. Then that stage also developed to a mechanized farming where people will rather, use large scale commercial instrument in farming. And that is the stage we find ourselves now. We can't only say it's mechanized, but then it has gone beyond that. IT, AI, and all those advanced technologies are coming in for us to develop the sector. The use of farm machinery to perform farm operations is called farm mechanization. The practice where animal power is used is the animal traction. So yes, if you visit some of the sub-Saharan, especially Eastern African, they still use the animal traction, though most of the people are also using the technology in this era called the mechanized farming. That's the era. So we have those three stages, from the nomadic farming to settled farming to the mechanized farming, where technology is being integrated to, play massive role, improve the sector. Okay. What next? Let's see. All right, so we have the importance of agriculture, which we all know the importance. The first thing is we need food to survive. So agriculture provides essential food items for survival. Important food and cash crops growing in Africa are cereals. Even now, ginger, I was thinking about this. I said, ginger is becoming very scarce and very expensive in our markets. And I was trying to do my own search to see how can I do that at home in my own small way. And I learned that if I get good soil and then put them in I can just also plant my ginger because becoming very expensive. I was also discussing with someone that if you go to China, the person, she brings things from China. Why don't you look at ginger? Try and bring ginger and you will get money. So in fact, anything edible that you think of, if you involve yourself in those things, look at the ones that will interest you most. And then let's see, you do that not only to, get food to survive, but then when we do that, we help to also create jobs. So another important is what agriculture serves as a source of employment. It provides employment to large proportion of the population. And we still have graduate unemployed, a lot of them. But we have lands. Some of us, we have family lands, we have cocoa plantation. But you see, we see ourselves to be educated, elites, so it's no-go area. Let's step in so that we can help others. The value chains are also there. So if you don't even want to be part, like you going to the ground, then like I said, you can also invest money into this area and then we will help to create jobs for others. Imagine you having a land and you are not ready to put up the project yet. But for you to secure the land, you get someone or find someone, a trustworthy person. That one is very important because it's not anybody that you ask to go and occupy on your land to farm. By the time you realize the person has juju you or the person has turned around to take what belongs to you. But then you can still find someone reliable and trustworthy. And if this person is farming on that land, okay, the person will by all means get food to eat, to survive, can get something to even sell, and then, well, in one way or the other, you've helped another one person, only one person. It's cool, it's fine. And those of us who want to go into commercial farming too, it's also there. Others have also done it. They have harvested it. Some of us can also go into it. A case where we can, turn some into powder. Me, this ginger business, I want to get involved. If the friend is able to bring ginger, I'm going to, turn it into powder, ginger powder, package it. And that's the value chain. And it's also a way of helping us not to waste food so let's find our own means to be involved because it will help create jobs for others. Job unemployment case in Ghana. Agriculture is the long chain, long value chain. Even poultry, let's look at poultry business alone, the number of people that can be secure jobs. Those who will still want to work in banks, you will still want to sit in offices and the rest, IT people who can still find jobs because, like I said, the value chain from the ground, from farm to the market center, not only to the market center, but then processing it in our own small way. Sometimes we don't need bigger factories. You go to China and someone is using a very traditional, simple, equipment or whatever, and then the person is able to process something, turn it into something like coconut husk, so on and so forth. In fact, it can create jobs for us. So let's be job creators. Not only looking at the case where we want to sit in our offices. And so how do we bring in IT so that we will able to help create jobs, to integrate IT into the agri sector? And at the end of the day, we will not be working for the government. We will work for ourselves, and then we will even be able to employ others. Think about it. Agriculture is also a major source of income for individuals and government. Of course, if you are able to delve into it and it creates job for you, it will by all means create revenue. And if government is looking at it carefully, like they want to do, I think all of them, most of all the government, they have their plan A, okay, to improve the sector, planting to feed ourselves, and then nkukon kitinkiti. They are all beautiful ideas, but how do we, get people involved? That people will not go for nkukon kitinkiti and then just will consume it one time instead of helping us to get the benefits. Then agriculture contributes significantly to the gross domestic product of most African countries, and Ghana is one. Our GDP has reduced and so on because of agriculture. Now they go to the market, they do their market survey or the analysis, and then they come out, putting things together that, oh, it has gone down because now the inflation has gone down, food is no longer expensive, food is in the market, but still on records, we find out that some people are also struggling to eat, to get food to eat. So there's more to be done. Agriculture serves as a driving force for poverty reduction in Africa. So if it generates income or it creates jobs and it generates income, then it will reduce poverty, and then it will also reduce what? Hunger. Constraints to agricultural development. African countries have implemented a number of interventions, programs to increase agricultural productivity. Some can even be policy, it's even there. But then, upon all that they've done, every government comes and he tries to do something, tackle that area. But uh, partisan politics wouldn't help us to achieve our aims. Sometimes we don't want the one who is initiating the policy to see the success because we are not part of them. When we brought ours, they didn't help us and it collapsed. So if someone is now in power and he also wants to do something, we want to condemn it. At the end of the day, who suffers? All of us will suffer. Anyway, so there has been some constraint to agricultural development, why it is not developing in our part of the world, and one of them is policy. Why is policy a constraint to agricultural development in Africa? And let's come home. In Ghana, why is policy a challenge to agri development in Ghana? Okay, I'll answer myself because I said for the sake of time. But next week when we meet, we will delve into that. Why is policy a challenge to agricultural development in Ghana? One of them is the policy implementation. Like I said, every government comes out with a beautiful policy. But then, at the end of the day, the results, we are not able to record successes. And one of them is because of the partisan politics, and we are not able to implement it. And then the policy, sometimes there's inconsistent policy framework. The policy beautifully spelled out in their manifesto on white paper, but then implementing it, you see some kind of inconsistency. Frequent changes in agricultural policies is also a challenge. This government comes, he has his own policy, he starts something, then 4 years, Kofi and Tuata, 4 years down the line, the government is no longer in power. Another brings in different policy, discard whatever has been written by the previous government or whatever was started. I also want to do my own thing. So there's always inconsistent policy framework. Okay, there's always frequent changes in agricultural policies and lack of continuity. This hinder long-term planning and investment. So as one starts, instead of us to continue and see the success, because sometimes it takes a long time for us to get the see the outcome. But then once another comes and then there's no lack of continuity, then it ends there. And then this one also starts the same thing. What are we doing to ourselves? One other thing is the limited implementation capacity, weak institutional capacity. So it is spelled out, okay, beautifully, but then where are the institutions? It's even here institutional. So I will add these two, policy and institutional challenges. Limited implementation capacity as a result of what? Weak institutional capacity and inadequate resources constrain effective policy implementation. It affects, it constrain effective policy implementation. So the resources are not there. Ɛwɔ paper so. Yeah, reading no fe. It's beautiful. You listen and it's nice. But then how to implement it? There is inadequate resources to see its implementation. And then what up again? Inadequate funding, insufficient budget allocation to agriculture, hampers development. Even when we have read it in Parliament, it's in our budget. Probably someone, if it's 20 million or 30 million, instead of us to, spend the money judiciously, it's also something else. The money is being, channeled to different place somewhere, somehow. So I keep saying that all the challenges facing us, if you listen to my lectures and the topics that we've been discussing, at the end of the day, the basics of all the challenges facing us has to do with, have to do with what? Human attitude, our own attitude, individual attitude. In a case where money has been budgeted, okay, this money should go or allocated. It doesn't, it ends up not getting to exact place, and so it creates a challenge. Land ownership issues, complex land tenure systems, and disputes. All these affect policy implementation and a lot more. Then we have the institutional, like I said, lack of resources, institutional, resources to also, or inadequate resources constrain these, sectors. Then financial challenge. Individuals who are interested in going into the sector struggle to, find money or they get funds to do that. That's why I was pleading that if you have the means and you don't want to go to the grounds, let's just invest your money into the sector. Some people are doing that in our days because you put your money in the bank and the interest rate at the end of the month, interest rate, if you have put down 10,000 interest rates, it will come and it's like, is it 25 cedis? 25 cedis is even more. But this 10,000, if you invest it well into agri sector, like some people will give out money to trusted individuals, okay, to farm. Then when they harvest it, they share it into three. The one who is 28 will take one 2/3, and then the other person will take 1/3. Others are also putting money so that when at the end of the day they also go into the what has been harvested. I know a couple who is doing that rice business, so they also buy it from the farmer. They push money into it, and then once the farmer harvest it, they also buy it from the farmer, and then they have people workers who will work and then package it, and they have their name embossed on the wrapper, and it's very nice, and they go ahead to distribute it to supermarkets and other areas. So some people are also putting money. So sometimes you'll be working with someone and your salary is very small, but you see that person, it's not everyone who is, doing lobby thing. Some people are genuinely doing business. They are working in government agencies, but then they are investing their money somewhere that is those monies are fetching them income. Okay. So some people are doing that. If you don't want to go to the ground, at least invest because there's a financial constraint affecting the development of agricultural sector People who are ready to go into it are asked to go for a loan from the banks, and they are asking for a lot. Uh-huh. A lot. And so it deters others from getting involved or going into it. Then there's a social constraint. This has to do with the perception we've been carried all along. Oh, if you put on tie, your suit and your tie, there's no way agric is your business. It's only for the aged, the rural folks. But how much can they do? If it is for the aged in the rural areas, well, they are aged. They will still be using their traditional way of doing things, and they will not be able to do more. So that aspect is also there. Someone who has been schooled or is being educated will never see it as what a place to, a business to venture. But not to think of it, there is a provision, okay? Chicken, uh, oh, I forgot my own thing. This going for the chicken, cocoa kitty project. Someone can make it a big time business. Someone who is interested and is serious, okay, is diligent, will be able to do this and will end up getting enough, employing others, because it will become like a big time business. But the social constraint that no, work with school. Even if you are not careful, your friends and your families will be calling you, advising you, and they will even want to take you. Family members will want to go and do some consultation from a prophet somewhere. Why has this person, is this person educated, highly educated, and at the end of the day, he says he's going to Although these are changing. I know of software engineers from Canada moving to Ghana, and now they are into vegetable plantation. They make it, organic, and people are even running to buy. So please, that perception must change. There's also weather and environmental condition, constraint, the climate change. Now, when we expect rain, we no longer get it. The weather is so harsh. So if the farmers are still depending on the normal weather, conditions, it will fail them. But all these challenges, technological constraint, how is that a constraint? Not being able to integrate. So IT, if you are not helping us, if you are not bringing your IT skills and IT ideas to, improve this sector, then it becomes a challenge. Another on the other side too, if we leave it, because if those of us who have an idea in IT, want to bring in the technology, integrate technology, then we will see success. But then if you say, okay, let's integrate technology, and you leave it only for those who have no ideas, they will even fight against it. They will say that, oh, no, 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 we used to do it that way. They will always want to stick to the old tradition. So it, in a case where you have not educated the people about the benefits, okay, the importance of technology and the roles that technology can play to improve whatever they are doing, they will fight against it. That's why those with the ideas should rather come on board. Insufficient and unavailable financial services, I've mentioned that already. So looking at these constraints, how do we address them from the background we are coming from? IT students, can they help? Or IT persons, people with skills, people with IT ideas, can they help us change what is happening or address these challenges? Yes, there are some things they can do. Crop monitoring app can be developed, okay, using satellite imagery and AI to provide. So I'm giving you the tips, but if you ask even your AI right now, it will give you a lot, and you can find your project topic right now. Now. I'm begging you, your projects, level 400, 300, you'll be asked to start, but you can start now. Project ideas, let's look at agri sector. It's very broad sector. Let's look at that sector and see what we can do. Developing crop monitoring app, farm management system, where you are able to create a platform for farmers to track weather. Even weather condition can fail them, but if there is an app that can track the weather, it will help them. They can also look at that platform can help them not only tracking weather, but track health, soil health, crop performance with automated irrigation, like I mentioned, e-irrigation and fertilization recommendation. That app should be able to do that. Then market access platform, where you are able to build an e-commerce platform connecting farmers directly with buyers. That can help. And this will reduce the middlemen and improve what prices. So the price will be the same across board. Then agricultural advisory service, design an AI powered chatbots or app providing personalized advice on farming practices, weather forecasts, and market trends. Some people who are going into agric and they don't do all the consultation they do is go to the internet and then study what is there, what has been done so far, and then they follow suit. Supply chain tracker, where you develop a blockchain-based system to track produce from farm to table, ensuring transparency and quality control. All these are there. Smart irrigation systems. Study all these things, apps. And then IT, technology, where technology is coming in, where others have, built something already, and then you also want to study it, and then on contextualized basis, you bring it to Ghana because probably we don't have it here, and then you also want to do something, a case study in Ghana, and yeah, that's where off you go. It will help. Smart irrigation system, pest and disease detection, use machine learning to develop an app identifying pests and diseases from images, providing treatment and recommendation. And then Farmers Community Forum, you build an online platform for farmers. This one is just very simple. Use only even WhatsApp to build an online platform for farmers to share knowledge, best practices, and resources. So please, and please again, let's see, think about how we can bring in our IT skills and our IT ideas to improve the agri sector. Looking at the challenges, it means we need to find solutions. And how do we find the solutions? Let's use IT to address some of them. Solutions. Okay, so these ones are not, but I mentioned for us to find solutions, let's look at IT properly. But these ones is general, okay? So the attainment of food. For Africa to become a leading agro-industrial continent, agriculture must be modernized. And that modernization, we only need to bring in what? Technology. It needs to be modernized and it needs to be based on sustainable rural development to ensure agricultural transformation in Africa. The following strategies should be adopted. When we have the strategy, then we will work towards it. The strategy should be what? We want to achieve food security because there is food insecurity. We are experiencing it in our part of the world. Attainment of food security, meaning what? Food must be accessible, 1A, affordable, 2A, and then accessible, affordable, and what else? Accessible. I'm always interested in those three is the accessibility, affordability, and then this one is not coming, it will come. Okay, but if in a case where the food is availability. It should be available, it should be affordable, and it should be accessible. The food is available where? In the rural area somewhere. Because of the poor road, it is not accessible. So in the place where the food is available and affordable, because it is available, a bushel, it is also less expensive. But then accessibility becomes a challenge because of poor roads, because of high transportation costs, and so on and so forth. But in a case where we are able to, but you see, when you even come to the cities, the food is also available. Go to markets, they are there, affordable, accessible. But, sorry, it is accessible, it is available, but it's not affordable. That's our challenge, those in the cities, urban centers. The food is accessible, it is available, but it is not affordable. On the other parts, those in the rural areas, the food is available, it is affordable, accessibility is also a challenge. But when we are able to have all these affordability, accessibility, affordability, here we mean that each and every person should be able, no matter the person's class. Okay, so we have in classes, some people are in the middle class, higher class, lower class. But if food is affordable, food must be, it's a commodity that every individual, no matter the status of the person, come on you. But if it is available, everyone should be able to access it. If you can't buy nice shoes and nice bars or sleep in a mansion and then ride a luxurious car, aduane kɛkɛ nso a nipa bɛdi nso, why? That shouldn't be the case where people go through this challenge, hunger. But then if we have this as a strategy, okay, to help solve the challenges, then here we are looking at how we will work assiduously, effortlessly to make sure that food becomes available and then accessible and affordable. And then even the availability, it shouldn't be seasonal and even accessibility. You know, some of the food is only available when is in season. Like the local mushroom. The way I like mushroom, if you know where I can buy it. When mushroom, it's even scarce. Even if you have the money and you want to buy, but then just a period, some season, gosh, you can't find it, you can't see it again. Even if you have the money, the attainment of food security is a mandate where you are able to. If I have the money and I want to buy it, I should be able to get it. Not because it is out of season. So availability means that the food must be available all throughout. If it is not in season, like we do the normal traditional way, so in season, it is rainy season, so you can get this, you can find this. Irrigation and those irrigation systems, IT will bring it in. We use our drones and to water our plants and whatever, so that all the time, season out of season, the food should still be available. And then the accessibility to where government will help us address the transport challenges and then the roads access and so on. And then production of raw materials for industries. If you want to develop the sector, then instead of most of the food going waste, if you check from the stats, from Ghana Statistical and their records, it will baffle you. The millions of CDs, if you quantify the food that, goes waste, if you quantify it in CD amount, in CDs or in dollars, it will baffle you the higher number that you will see amount. Okay, so that one, this is general, a case where we are able to change raw materials, okay, production of raw materials for industries. There should be industries. Sometimes, like I said, we don't need big factories and bigger industries. Let's look at how others are doing it. The Chinese, for instance, someone will be in his small room and have this small machine, simple thing, but he's able to change raw materials to finished product where it can last long. And then there should be improving of our standard of living for our farmers, those especially in the rural areas where we need to give them access to internet, access to electricity, good roads, water, potable water, so that they can do their best. Soil and water conservation is also what we need to look at if we want to develop a great setup. But here is the case in Ghana, we have a serious, bigger challenge. And if you try tackling it, you will get insults or attacks. I'm talking about destroying our water bodies and our soil by what means galamsey activities. How do we conserve our soil and our water for agric, activities and to even see development in the sector when, well, we are destroying our water bodies, when we are destroying our soils, we need to conserve it. So this one, see something, say something business. This one is where we should look at it as what? Our ethic of responsibility. Let's not attack people who want to share ideas on this challenging, you know, trends, because it will affect all of us. And then soil and water conservation. Can we also bring in IT here? How do we, let's study, let's read research, let's read papers and see how we can also use our IT to address the challenges. Then there should be promotion of what research and technology, which I've just mentioned. When we do more research and then we bring in technology, we promote technology. How do you do it? Maybe you've done your own search and it will help solve a small problem somewhere, but by solving it, it will develop the sector. Your case is just to promote it. Promoting it means that pushing it on or posting it on the internet, your platforms that you have, your story, share it now and then. People will be reading it. People will be reading it. People will reading it. One person can learn something out of it and then initiate it. Improve the efficiency of farmers. How efficient are they? Those who are even ready to go into it. Okay, so I learned there is something for youth youth initiative, that if you want to go into the youth energetic ones, graduates, if you have your brilliant idea and you go to the ministries, they with your business idea, they can help you start. There's something called starter for the youth. But other farmers, that's those who are, some have lived abroad and they have made money, but they've come back to their country, and some policies and some things here and there is constraining them. If we can improve their efficiency, help them. Sometimes it's just a paperwork. So if you are working in any of the ministries and someone wants to do something, let's try and help, push. Don't put it under the carpet because the person is from where is wearing a different party color. In fact, when it comes to agribusiness, there shouldn't be any division whatsoever, because all of us we all need food to survive. Nti ɛno deɛ ma play politics wɔ mu koraa. And then the formulation and coordination of agricultural policies. How do we push it? How do we ensure its implementation? The government has brought ideas, they've allocated funds. If it gets to your desk and you you squander such monies, that one, yeah, cases so no, something that will help the nation, everyone. So the formulation whoever has to help for us to formulate, coordinate, and implement these policies that will boost the sector. We shouldn't waste time at all. And then there should be development of effective and efficient input supply distribution system, as well as output marketing system. In time past, the outputs and marketing distribution and marketing system was there. The government had it. Those who are far advanced kakra in age, we heard about food. You heard about Food Distribution Corporation. Okay, so some are in the farmlands doing their business. And then because of the accessibility problem and all those, we also have others who will go and buy from the farmers. And then government has an agency that, buys from the middlemen. So if the farmer cannot bring it to the government agency, there's a middleman who goes to buy, and government stocks it. And so all year round, especially cereals and legumes and all those, we were having it plenty. I remember those days, our mothers who were teaching during their holidays, they will be moving around buying beans, and then they will send it to Food Distribution Corporation. But individuals can also have their own way. I know some individuals, when the maize, it is in season. Some people also buy it, they stock it, and then when it is out of season, then they sell it. So we individuals can come in. It's not only about the government. Here, I'm only pleading that individuals, let's also get involved. I nearly step into one of those businesses, buying maize, stocking it, and then selling it when it is out of season. But where to stock it? And then I learned you also need people to work and looking at time constraint. But if you have time and you can do that, why not? It's also a way of investing and helping the sector to develop. So yes, government should have that where they give input to the farmers, sometimes fertilizers, you subsidize some of the farm, those equipment and the rest for the farmers so that they will be able to do more. And then after that, they have harvested, it shouldn't go waste. There should be a distribution system where, an outward market system where they can go and then government will buy it from them and stock it for all year round. Development of effective, I've done. Okay, so production of agricultural commodities for export within Africa and globally. If we are able to do this, then we can export more. But as it stands, some people are doing it, but they are only exporting it. I learned even ginger, places where they are into ginger business, either they've turned it into galamsey business. And few of them who are involved, what they do is also, they also harvest it because some people are also living abroad. Some are even here in Ghana and they are investing their monies in these areas. Okay, so when they harvest it, instead of them taking it to the local market, they export it fast. And this is if you are interested in doing business. Okay, so there are some of these foodstuffs that people are also investing, and even yam. Someone sitting somewhere in America investing money in yam business. So straight to the farmer, does everything. Once it's harvested, this person will come and learn here and then package and make sure everything's packaged to US. I know some also doing it in South Africa. So all these are areas that we can invest. So a great sector, DHLA, let's take a second look at the sector. And as we do that, not only we doing it to export it, only that, but then let's also do that to feed ourselves. End of show for part one. Thank you. Any question? Whilst I prepare for the second part of our discussion. Any question here? Any addition? I'll take one or two. Like I said, because we have some group of people to do their presentation on these areas, we can ask more questions. But those who will not be able to make it to face-to-face, which is going to be enjoyable, face-to-face, I wish all of you can come. But those who will not be able to come down and you have questions here, you can ask whilst I stretch to. Are we together? More, please, are you there? Ladies and
We are here,
gentlemen.
madam. We are here.
Yeah, we are here.
Okay. Any question? Any? I see. Okay. Mustafa Razak. Mustafa, let's hear your question whilst I switch to the other. Yes, please ask your question.
Okay, Doc, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So where my has to do with there's this thing that I've been studying for quite some time now, which has to do with cashew food. Because
Yes.
most of the times when I travel to I see places where they farm cashew. The food is always being thrown away, and then they concentrate more on the nut. So I was saying I've also done a research that was saying that the food itself can be used to extract alcohol or
Yes.
other drinks can be made out of it. Mostly when you go to BA, you go to the Western region or places where they do large farming of cashew. They always throw the nut. Sometimes we stop by to eat and then you put the nut down and then the food gets wasted.
Mhm.
So I was asking if maybe our leaders haven't thought of something like that, of maybe getting a factory where the juice is being used to get something meaningful out of it.
Mm. Okay, this thing also pop out. Someone in South Africa also called and he mentioned that yes, he learned that their only concentration is on the nut, like you are saying, and then the fruits, go waste. But they can even use it to prepare wine. And so he wanted to, see if he can come in with investors. Where does he start from? You see, when people want to even come in and do these things, huh, our own attitude, those in the government agencies, ministries, the way they treat them, some people have interest in it. Uh-huh. But Mustafa, can you also be a leader? Leader, no, yeah, for change. What about you in your own small way? Is there anything you can also do? Because some people are just, they juice the oranges and then their own way they package it and we are getting orange juice. If you want to, like you said, you've done your own search, delve more into it and see how, maybe in your own small way, wobɛtumi start bibi ketewa bi, and then look out for promotion and adverts. By the time you realize you are a factory owner, since you have started, don't stop there. But for the government, yes, I think not quite long ago, one a big minister mentioned that they've received investors who would want to look into that because the nuts are all being bought, but even the prices are always low. Some of them they don't even get market, ready-made market. So I don't know who even watched that. It was in the news. A Greek minister mentioned there were some people, foreigners who came to the country. They met the minister and there was MOU being signed looking at it. Not only that, even let's look at our coconuts. The husk, coconut husk can be used to, prepare charcoal. And now if you visit malls and other shopping malls and pharmacy shops, they call it black charcoal that people use to cleanse the system, that it cures certain ailments. Charcoal is on a good way. The raw materials are there. So sometimes we will forget about the leaders. Like I said, let's look at the models that are being used by the Chinese and other people. You realize that they have the small corner somewhere and the person is making something out of that raw material. Can we let's start individual doing our own thing? And by the time you realize, just like people are now into spices, someone started it and now everybody is doing spices, powdered spices. The same way raw materials, charcoal business, whatever, those raw materials that are going waste that can be used to or furnished to, produce something. Let's see. And then the government there, what advice or my advice you? The leaders. So let's be our own leaders and see how we can, look at these. And those who also have the money and the monies are either in your bank accounts, invest them. Please invest them in a great business. Thank you very much. So let's look at our next topic, also very interesting. So next week, I'm hoping that we will have discussions. When they do their presentation, then we will ask series of questions and we will also add our voices, contribute. So if you have further questions that I'm unable to, address, kindly note them down. Another topic we want to look at is the gender, family, and marriage in Africa, the basic institution in our part of the world, not only in Ghana, but everywhere. That's the basic institution. And if something goes wrong, then of course it will affect all the other institutions. Gender. Because it's African studies, I'm going to align it with the African studies and our practices. And when you talk about gender, it's something else. But this session, we anticipate to achieve these objectives. We should be able to explain the concept of gender in our own context, African context. Explain the African family system in our own way, in our context, identify and discuss the characteristics as well as the functions of family in Africa, discuss African marriage, and outline the various types of marriages practiced, identify the criteria for selecting a marital partner in a traditional society. That question popped up last week. Selecting partner, why are marriages collapsing in our world today? As quick as you can even think of 3 months marriage, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years down the line, the marriage is collapsing. And every second, People are also trooping to Registrar General's office, churches, malls, other places, getting involved in this, you know, what this thing called marriage. But 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line, 5 years is shaking. Why? And this is a case where, like I say, always put it, we in a time now, we take time, okay? Start as friends, sometimes classmates, course-mates, colleague at work, church member, we start friendship, and it develops into something else, and then we are courting, we go through series of series. But as soon as the people settle, hey, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, someone says, I'm no longer interested in this relationship. As compared to the days where you are there and Mustapha, your parents will call you, Mr. Mustafa, we've realized that now you are of age. You need a partner. And so we have done our diligence background check and we found someone from Kwejo so and so's family. They are a good family. We've studied them, they are good. Then they will give you the history of that family. So there is a lady, Aisha. Aisha is a good woman. We've studied her carefully. She can be a good wife. And then as obedient as Mr. Mustafa is, you say, yo, Papa, I hear. Then they give Aisha, they prepare the marriage ceremony, and then you take your wife. And this is a marriage some of us we've witnessed 30 years, celebrating their anniversary, sometimes 30 years, 25 years, 40 years. As compared to, so in this scenario, Mr. Mustafa did not even take time to, study Aisha. He only, married the lady based on what the family had or the father or mother or whoever introduced Aisha to it. And they were able to stay in their marriages. Some values are there. Endurance, patience, love, perseverance, not giving up early. Things are getting tougher. We are still together. We will not divorce. In our case, this one, we take time to select our own Coca-Cola shape. Oh, he has a degree. He's so and so holder. Oh, he has nice car. In fact, I like the way the guy carries himself. I like the way the lady, and so on and so forth. Then we go to long process relationships, sometimes even 2 years, 3 years. As soon as we settle down, the number of years that we even spend to study ourselves, courting, being in relationship, will even be more than the number of years that we want to stay with the person in marriage. So it's a concern because if the marriage collapses, it affects the family system. And like I said, if the family system, breaks down, then of course, that is where we have all the challenges. And then we pointing fingers, bad leader, so and so, calling names because of the family. Because at the end of the day, we are all coming from a family background. And if there is no couple, no parents, okay, doing the let me not say no parents, responsible ones to, groom those individuals, and we all move out. As we have all moved out and we've gathered, we are all coming. When we say bye-bye, we are all moving to our various. So there is a challenge here. And practically, we want to, what I have is just something small, but I want us, it should be a concern. Either when we get a chance to select, we select well, or if we're already parents, let's groom our younger ones well, groom them well. Let's not groom as if them, like in those days, they only groom women because they are the only one going into marriage. As if it takes two to tango, right? So nowadays, if you happen to be a wife and you realize that your husband is not doing it right and you wish he has been trained this way or that way, then train your boy child as such. If you're a husband here and you realize that your wife is not doing it right, you wish that she has been, trained this way or that way, then train your girl child in that manner. so that we can change the status quo, the status quo. Okay, we can change that because it's becoming alarming. The divorce rates and then the consequences. What then is gender? What, what you are doing? You say some playing music. What then are we had inside? Okay, so gender. Gender studies in Africa reveal that women are not equal beneficiaries with men of Africa resources. They lag behind men on most of the indicators. Okay, be it access to education, healthcare, land. Healthcare in our part of the world is okay in Ghana, for instance, but elsewhere because it's a research by
Stop.
someone.
Stop.
Hello.
We can't see your slide.
Oh, sorry. Oh, then let me share it again. Let me stop and share. Thanks for prompting me. Please, can you see it now? Is it okay?
Yes, please. Gender, family, and marriage in Africa.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. And then the objectives. I mentioned that earlier. Explain the concept of gender in Africa, explain the family system. We are looking at it from African perspective. What are the characteristics and the functions of a family? Then the marriage, outline various types. What are the criteria? How were we doing it? I keep saying that uh, re-examination is not a taboo. And so if there is a challenge today, then we want to analyze it by looking at it from the past. How were they doing it? Why is it that it has changed in our time? And what is causing that change? Is the change positive or negative? That is what we need to analyze. Your gender studies in Africa reveal that women lag behind. Huh. So you hear women inequality, gender equity, and so on and so forth. Traditionally, it has made it so. And even now that we are still in the modern age, some people still want to stick to that traditional practices where women are affected mostly, especially when it comes to marriage. In marriages, then you realize that some husbands are highly educated, they don't believe in cultural practices, but in their marriage, they want to practice it, their tradition. I'm a traditional man, I'm an African man. Boss, you say you don't believe in African cultural practices, but when it comes to marriage, where some men, in quotes, want to relegate women, or even sometimes at our workplaces, some men will not take it lightly at all if a woman becomes his leader. How do we change this? Since we all want to empower our women because we want to educate our girls. If you have a daughter, you still want to educate your daughter. Unlike in time past where they will say, "Oh, let the boys go to school and the girls stay at home." Now it's changing, and every father or every mother, wishes to educate those two, boy or girl. But today we want to look at that. Then the second aspect we want to look at is the family. There are many variations in the family from culture to the next. Yet the family as a social institution exists in all cultures. Moreover, certain general principles concerning its composition, kinship patterns, and authority patterns are universal. But then in the context of Africa, we do not only refer to family as what the nuclear family, but we also refer to the extended family. So we practice the nuclear and the extended family, but in modern days, you realize that they are more into the practice of the nuclear family than the extended family. Is it bad? What is it has changed, that's fine. But has the change be positive or negative? Practicing the nuclear family or neglecting the extended family practice. Are these things contributing to the challenges we face because the institutions are very weak as a result of the weak family system. So we just want to understand it and see if there is the need to still blend the two like we used to do in time past, not delving into the extended family per se, but then where in a case where we can also bring some of the extended family members. Okay, we bring them in, especially when we marry and we have the nuclear family consists of only the husband, wife, and the children. If that nuclear family needs support, then some of the extended family should be involved, like our parents, okay, where the parents are very busy and they always busy, let me put it that way. When the children are on vacation, then we can also bring in the support, the family support, like our own parents who even train us. Why do we want to neglect them? We want to say that they are of no use if they can be of help to us, because we neglect our children at the expense of what? Internet. So they end up using the internet is teaching them whatever they want to learn because we are not home. But then they have their grandparents. We have some of the trusted aunties and uncles who can be of help. We need family support in our time. So yes, we want to look at that. Marriage in Africa culture, we also want to look at it. In our part of the world, it's a joining of two families to the union of one man and one woman. But of course, we believe in and practice polygamous marriage, which most of the men wish. They wish that we bring it in. Those who do not even agree, okay, in this practice, polygamous polygamous system, those who say they don't believe, the side chicks and the side cocks, even the women. Now, I learned some of the men, they also have side cocks. Some of them also have side chicks. Not necessarily, getting married to two women, but then they have their wife at home and then the side chicks somewhere. And some of them too, they still want us to go back. But if it's our practice, if your religion, okay, for instance, if you are a Muslim, it allows you, but if you're a Christian, it doesn't allow you. If you are not a Christian, you are not a Muslim, you are neither here nor there. And the economy will shape you. If the economy will allow you to practice it, then of course, it's African
Economy will
practice.
position you to do it.
Sorry.
The economy will position you to do it.
Exactly. So the economy itself, one wife itself, just one wife and the children, it's not even easy for you to say that, oh, you want to practice polygamous. Go for it. I know, dear, I don't think. But some have money and they think, looking at the economy, assessing it, they can still manage it. And if your religion will also permit you, for us, it is African practice. Just that because of the modernity, things are changing, economic factors, things are changing, religious beliefs, new religion coming in, even education, all these are changing those kind of things. Quickly, let's look at the concept of gender. The term gender has become popular not only in academic and development discourse, but also in everyday parlance. Gender. In academic, all we hear is about gender inequality, gender equity, gender preference. So for those of us in academic, when we look at gender, then basically we are all looking, for me, for instance, I was trying to look at a study at GCTU, looking at the number of ladies that are enrolled in the STEM programs. We have the engineering, and then particularly I'm looking at these two faculties, engineering and then the IT faculty. You realize that for some years, anytime I go to class, or even when you are teaching students, marking their script, you can get about 90% of them being male and then 10 being female, especially in the engineering faculty. The female very, the number is very low. And so I was trying to look at it from the academic perspective. Why is it because and a lot are involved? It's because probably, some of the things have been strictly attached to men that, for these areas is no-go area. some parents will say, oh, you're a girl, you can't go into engineering, you can't do this course, it's for men. So, but in everyday balance, either some people are having some experiences here and there, especially in politics, where in a case where some women are being sidelined, and so it has never been stopped. We've never stopped discussing that topic. Some even coin it in a way, women empowerment, and some even are so annoyed when they hear the word empowerment. So for me, I normally don't use women empowerment. If you use the empowerment, people tend to look at it in a different way. So the term gender, for many, it is simply a synonym for women, as if men also do not have gender. Once you mention gender, then the idea is shifted towards women. For others, it serves as a code to point to inequalities between the sexes. Here we mean the male and female, although there are many other dimensions of what inequality. So for me, if I'm looking at inequality, then in academic background, like I said, I'm looking at why female students are not, more students are, female students are not enrolled in STEM programs, but it depends on what the person is talking about. The term sex should be used as a classification of male or female based on biological distinction to the extent that this is possible to confirm. Yes, because gender, this topic, we are looking at it from African perspective. There is nothing like transgender, bisexual, and those kind of things. We only want to look at the sexes, and the sexes are only two, male and female, boy and girl. Based on what the evidence can even tell us. I'm talking about their features. So if this person stands, this individual is standing and you are able to identify certain features, that's what we use to identify them as this is a girl, this is a boy. And in our part of the world, per our custom, per our practices, we do not accept any other thing aside that. While other scholars refer to gender, so that's what we mean. The term gender in our part of the world, we only use it to distinguish between a male and a female, and even the roles that they play, their status and the roles that they play. But while other scholars refer to gender as the socially constructed roles, behaviors, and identities of female, male, and gender diverse people, Africans comprehend gender as the socially constructed roles, behaviors, and identities of only male and female, and nothing else. Means nothing else. So here we only understand gender to be what? A male and female, and we don't also forget about the roles that are attached to the roles that each of those individuals play, and then the behaviors that they also exhibit or they show. It is important for us to understand it, because even in our relationship, if you are in a relationship and you have a wife, if you know how per gender, per sex, male behaves, female behaves, you always want to overlook certain things. And your woman, that, oh, she's behaving this way because she's a woman, and that is how women, most women behave in certain period, or as in course of the month, in certain days they are off mood because a woman per their biological makeup, they go through menstruation, and so they have problem with their hormonal change and hormonal imbalance, and so that is why it makes it cool. You understand the person if there's mood swing and there's those kind of things. Okay, or a male you want to bring an idea, and the partner who is a male says that no, you have to understand, because they have their ego. Some of men behave that way, so you'll be cool. Because you understand where the person is coming from. And if you still want to continue with that, conversation, then at the proper right time, you come in and then you get your partner back. So to understand gender, I wish all of us after this, we would try and then study and understand the term gender, the behavior attached to each of those sexes, and then the roles that they play. It will help us. It will help us even at places where we work. Why is this person behaving the way? Or your Boahemaa, why I'm here, I'm the boss here. I'm a female, I'm a woman, I'm the boss. He needs to understand that I'm his boss. He can't understand it because African man, baby, you feel so you also will know how to, you know, um relate well in order to bring peace and then productivity to your workplace. Huh. So that is that. In order to understand gender, it is useful to understand the concept of feminism and patriarchy, which I've just explained. Let's find time and understand that term gender, understand patriarchy, feminism, and then understand where these groups, are coming from and where they stand. There are several brands and strands of feminism, but at minimum, they share the following components: a recognition that women as a group normally suffer from greater inequalities in the world we live in than men, not because of some inherent deficiencies, as some had previously thought, but because societies are structured in ways that privilege men relative to women. This male privilege is referred to as a patriarchy. It has been from time immemorial, but if we, in our days, we want change, we say that we live in the technological age, IA era, and so on. We found new religion, and we still want to stick to that. Where a case where you want to people will want to relegate women, ladies or women. It's neither here nor there. In relationship where one wants to bully the other because of the person's gender, in place of work where one wants to bully the other. And per experience, women who have been able to, go through and they've climbed either the academic ladder or political ladder, you can't bully them. Don't try it. Me, for instance, you can't try it to bully me. If you're under me and you pay your custom, you think that, oh, because me, I'm a man, my custom. Sometimes you even come across some class reps, male class reps, and because you're a female lecturer, they don't want to take instruction. They want to take instruction from their. It's a problem. We can't continue like that. Men, let's stop. The same way you don't want your daughter to be treated as such. Let's not do that. We need change. We need change. If woman is empowered, it doesn't mean that they say they are going to stand on your shoulder. Okay, these are two individuals. Why should one be empowered to stand on others' shoulders? Because the other person is a man. So if he's trampling on others, that one is fine. But if the person is a woman, then it's no good. It's both of them is not good. Each and every individual needs to be treated well, whether the person is a male or a female. All must be treated fairly, all must be treated well. Do unto others as you want to do unto you. So if you're a man, do unto your other a woman what you want to be done unto you. If you're a woman, the same way. Let's not bring in that thing where, in the case where we think some people are mistreating and bullying their partners because they are the bosses. I'm the head. If you are the head, another person is the neck. If the neck also doesn't turn, the head will not also turn. Okay, so the body parts, we all work together. So here, I was trying to explain this part to understand, for us to understand the patriarchy and the feminism and why that group or that brand comes out. It's not only about coming out to be empowered to bully men or to relegate their men. It can never be so because that is not how it created it. But it is just for men to give women space. If a woman stands for or fight for a position, don't say because she's a woman. Oh, she's a woman, say if she can do it, she's competent to do it. Let's give room for that. African family system, simply in our context, it refers not to the nuclear family alone, but to the extended family system. The family is held as a fundamental social and moral values in African society. So in a case where the family collapses or there's problem, then the social and the moral values are at stake. And it will go a long way to affect all the other structures, all the other institutions. So like we put it, oh, the system is corrupt. Oh, the leaders are corrupt. Oh, so and so, and we are pointing figures. The bottom line comes from here, where the family is not doing what it takes to do, because they ought to groom their members socially, morally, and then when they move out, or we all move out, then the structure or the system will be conducive for us to live in. The family members are conscious of the need to keep their family together, and so they make every effort to prevent the disintegration that is in time past. The reason marriages were not collapsing, because if the marriage collapses, then of course it will affect the family, right? So they will tell you, oh, take time, be patient. But in the case where you lose your life, that one day I will not advise you. Because nowadays it doesn't take long for partners to, take the lives of the other partners. But if it is not about life case, okay, life and death, and it's just a small patience, it's just perseverance, it's just an endurance. You went in and things were booming, things were nice, but children have come in and it's still not the same. That materialism, we should cut them off, especially the women, ladies. And then the comparison, this one is doing this for this, and that kind of. In that case, some of the things, you listen and it doesn't call for disintegration of that relationship. But here I'm here to say that if there is, in our time, in those days, our time is now, those days they will make every effort to prevent the disintegration of their family system, because it's through the family that they have their values, and these values are, what are the values? The love, the care, cohesion, solidarity, mutual respect, responsibility, perseverance, and so on and so forth. And it is at the family level that all these values are also imbibed in the individuals. So when there is no integration, then there is that cooperation where they are able to, build, instill, imbibe all those social and moral values in the individual. And it takes everyone to do that. The uncles, the aunties, nephews, nieces, mother, the parents, siblings, all involved. We can't stop the practice of nuclear family, but then what we can do is, like I said, we need that family support where they can give us a helping hand to address some of the issues. The characteristics, in whatever manner or form, either a nuclear family or extended family, it takes its origin in marriage. That is why the marriage is very important. Choosing who becomes a partner and building that, starting that family is very, very crucial. It's not about Coca-Cola, only about the outward appearance, the Coca-Cola shape, or the what do we call it? The degrees or the certificates, the outward appearance, the luxuries and the rest. But it's about the inbuilt character, behavior, values. Because the family takes its origin, or it finds its origins in marriage. It consists of nuclear as well as the extended family members. The members are united together by social and psychological bonds. They are even united by religious. So here the social bonds, we went on further to explain. The social bonds include the legal. Legally, if you belong to that family, legally you are part of that family. On legal terms, someone can raise a concern. Now that people are agitating, we go for DNA. If the person, if it turns out that the person is, yes, it's a biological son or daughter of the parent, then legally that bond, it bonds them. Okay, then economically, religiously, sexual rights, and all those are the social bonds that, unite families together. Then the psychological bonds include the love that the family share, the affection, those things, binds the family. They are the bond, the affection, the respect, the submission or ill, as we put it. All those are the things that, unite the family. And these things, we don't joke with them. it takes time to build these things. As for the social bonds, the legal and the economic bonds, fine. But the psychological bonds is when they deliberately and intentionally make sure that they unite the family. With that kind of love, with that kind of affection. I keep saying that if you come across a very wicked person, the person doesn't know how to love. It means he was not trained to love. He was not given love. If I ask for something and you don't have it, you cannot offer it. You cannot give it to me. So if we want to see people to be kind, honest, just, and so on and so forth, we need to be intentional and what? Imbibe those things in them because it is what they have that they will give. Someone will say, oh, as for me, my partner doesn't know how to love. And so the person doesn't know how to do it because he was not trained to be loved. Nobody loved him. Nobody showed him care. For him to show you care. When he doesn't have it. He doesn't know how to do it. But if we want to change that thing or whatever, we also want to unite. Let's unite either nuclear family or extended family. Let's try our best. Let's be intentional and unite them socially, psychologically, which I've explained. It includes legal, economic, love, care, affection, respect, and so on and so forth. Functions of a family in general, either nuclear or extended family, there are 6 basic functions. It means there are more to this one, but then the basic ones are the reproduction. It is the duty of every family to, or the members to reproduce, procreate, so that there will be continuity of that family. That is why we don't accept gay marriage and those kind of things because there wouldn't be continuity of that family. But it is the responsibility of the members to do that because someone gave birth to you for you to be added to the family. So you ought to also give birth. And it becomes a concern if members, if you like, people are nosy about this. When others, when is you and your wife going to give us children? Because they don't want you to discontinue that family tie. It ought to be continued. And that is where especially those who are very close to us, they become so concerned. And you are there and your in-law will come or your mother will bring something. Hey, I went to the village and they say that if you use this herbs, because in those days they will rely so much on herbs. And even now they still believe in herbs. So reproduction, but in our case, you see, it is becoming a problem. Production in those days, because like I said, it's a family function. It is the family's duty to do that, members to do that. And if a member is not, being able to reproduce, that members become concerned and they try to help. But talking about gender, in those days, they will only point fingers at who? The woman. In our days, it has changed. Research, you ask AI right now, and it will tell you infertility among men is rising more than among women. It's becoming a serious concern, health concern. Because of certain things, certain factors, the radiations from the gadgets that we've been using, the food, our lifestyle, food that we eat, some, taking alcohol, energy drinks, and so on, not eating well, balanced diets. So, men, please, it's no longer about the women, the infertility. It's not only about women now, it's also about men, low sperm count and that kind of things. Some start early taking in alcohol and all sorts of drugs. Others have resorted to how can you just take in something because you have a lady and you want to make it and then you want to take in something. It's not only affecting men reproductive system, but I learned it's also affecting the kidneys as well. So please, let's be very mindful, let's be very careful. But it is the function of every member in the family to reproduce. So the family members become concerned if it is not so. Then protection is the duty of the family to protect the members. And in that case, because we used to have the family head, and the family heads were very responsible in time media because of nuclear family practice, some people even don't know their family heads. They only, play their roles when there is someone dies and there is a funeral and we want to, then you see a penny deep. That is where the Ebusuapanyins will also come in and say that yes, Ebusuapanyin to park, they will come in and let people know that they exist. But in those days, hey, the family clan head or the family heads were very diligent, very responsible, making sure they bring all the other nuclear family members together to unite them as extended family. And if there is the need to help support others, they do so. So it is the duty of every family, either nuclear or extended family. So if the nuclear family, only parents and children, then the parents, it is your duty to protect your children, the members. If it's a larger family, it is the duty of the family head or the clan head to protect the members. They also help to socialize the members by grooming them, teaching them the family values, moral values, the social values. And it takes each and every one, because like the other says, it takes a nation to train an individual. Imagine. So, a nuclear family, parents and siblings, and then the parents are not there, and they neglect the children. They put money on the table. Okay, so when you come from school, this is your money, take it. The parents come home very late. It's something else. It's something else. So socialization here means that helping members to know the other members, helping to groom them, train them. I'm talking about proper training, well training, responsible training, so that they become fit in the society. They help to regulate. So in a case where a member, if they can even they hear if you are even in the urban center and your child is misbehaving and it gets to the family members. When you go for funeral, they will sit you down and tell you that, share, you are not training your children well. Train them the family values. We don't want you and your children to bring the way they will give it to the parents, you as a parent, if a father or a mother. It is the duty of the family head or the family members to also regulate the sexual behaviors of other members so that they don't involve themselves in those homosexual relationships, or they don't go and irresponsibly impregnate women and not taking responsibilities. So they regulate your members, they groom you, they teach you that you are teenager. If you go out with men or girls, if you're a girl, you'll be pregnant, you get pregnant. If you're a boy, don't go and impregnate someone's daughter. They regulate their sexual behaviors, and then they make sure that you don't also indulge in other sexual acts, activities, prostitution, and all those kind of things that are, built, is an abomination to their family. They will not accept that. They help to create companionship, calling others to come home, especially during festivities, even in urban centers where we practice nuclear family, in our own small family, grandparents, some of our grandparents or our mothers will call, oh, bring your children. So if they have 3 children, then they will ask them, you and your wife and your children come home. They say, Christmas, we all want to eat together. So that kind of companionship, they call in the extended family. In time past, they will use their festival celebration, calling home all members, uniting those. You will have some disagreements, and then helping even others. In those days, sometimes they might have the cocoa plantation, oil, whatever, and then they use the money that come out of that to help the members. Sometimes when there is a funeral and they benefit from it, they get profit. In some families, which I know, they use the money to buy canopies or plastic chairs for hiring. So that whatever money that comes out of that, they use it to help other members. Or if there is other engagements, they wouldn't go for loan, but they will say, oh, let's go into our family coffers. We have money. Some families do that. They unite the members, companionship, that kind of support, that kind of help. And then it is the duty of the family to provide social status, provision of social status. And then this one, they work diligently at it, for it. to achieve that. Because in those days, someone will come and ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, or your son will go to another family asking for another person's daughter's hand in marriage. They don't marry anyhow. They marry from families that they know. And for your family not to be insulted, oh, for this family, oh, the men are irresponsible. The women there are disrespectful. They are this, they are that. And so in those days, they deliberately, intentionally groom the members, help the members, protect them, regulate their social companionship, support them so that they create a name, a status. So when you mention the family name, the Lamte family, the so and so family, people give respect and people will want to go into that family. Not like nowadays where obiara fa ne kwan, anything goes. Who even cares to go into your family to do that background check and but people were doing it. The names are fetching them. Like we say, a good name is better than riches. They've made names for their families that wherever they go to, once they mention their family name, people are ready to open doors for them. And these were the responsibilities that were being played by the family heads and the family members, ensuring that they make a status. So if one member is well to do, like in some places, if a member travels abroad, you work hard and come and take not your siblings, biological siblings, but then a cousin. Then the cousin will also go and come and take another cousin. So at the end of the day, you look at the mothers. Every mother has his or her daughter outside. So later when they have, been able to close that circle, then the first person who was taken from this line will come and take the biological brother or sister. And so when you get to the family, you realize that, oh, if it is education, they will help. Like those days, if you ask some of our fathers, some of them were brought to the cities, urban centers, per what? By their uncles and so on. The uncle is educated, he's now living in the urban center, and then he will go and bring one of the, nephews or nieces to, and then the nephew will also do well, and then if he's obedient, he listens to advice, and then he will go and bring another person. And by the time you realize they are all well to do, so nobody becomes a burden, okay, on other person. Now I ask, streetism. You go to the streets, a lot of children, and some of them are very young. And you realize, you ask yourself, don't they have families? Does it mean that if their immediate family members are not there, especially their parents, some of them, you ask them and say, I've lost my mother, my father is dead, and there's nobody to. They don't have other family members. You see, when we neglect some duties, okay, those practices, at the end of the day, we suffer. The consequences, come back to us. Because those streets boys and girls or whatever we call them, they form gangs, and if they become armed robbers and you are well to do, you and your children alone, they will not let you sleep. So the point is they become burden to the society. That's why every family should make it intentional, very responsible to train the members and also extend helping hands to others. Let's extend help and support others. Probably the person is not directly from your family, but please, those that are vulnerable, if we can, let's help, because once we do that, we help to reduce deviance in our society. Because when we have it all, we and our children, and we have these deviants, they will not let us have a good sleep. They will come on you with their machetes and the rest. That's why we help one another. We got to do that. And families ought to do that. Then the African marriage system. Marriage is the basic institution in every human institution. It is a recognized social institution. Sometimes I ask, the marriage and the family, which comes first? It's like the chicken and the egg. Okay. So two people are united, and then they bring forth children, and they form a family, and gradually that family becomes a larger family. On the other hand, these two people are also coming from a family, so egg and chicken. Which one? Which one comes first? Whatever the case, they are all basic institutions, but I think much emphasis should be placed on the marriage. That's why in my class, I always stress on the marriage, marriage, marriage. It's not anything you do it anyhow, because you end up disturbing the society. It is recognized social institution not only for establishing and maintaining the family, but also for creating and sustaining the ties of kinship. In Africa and in the settings of communal relationships, extended family is being practiced more. But like I said, in that time now, the nuclear family is the order of the day. It is a matter in which the lineage groups of both the man and the woman are deeply interested. Men and women in marriage, men are encouraged to marry because the responsibility associated with marriage elevates him to responsible social status. If people do not marry and people do not procreate, then there will be discontinuity, and then in a part of the world, it also gives men and women the recognition. Men become more responsible, women become more responsible when they have settled. It's debatable because some already settled in relationship, but they are irresponsible. But in actual fact, it puts, for instance, if the person used to spend his money anyhow, now you have to buy diaper, pay fees. Do you get it? So financially, it puts you in a state where the person becomes responsible. So that's what we mean. If the lady used to go out anyhow, doing all sorts of things, once she's married, then she becomes responsible to the husband and the children, and then managing the home and the rest. So that's what we mean here. And homosexual marriages are never accepted in a part of the world because it is deemed as a taboo, and also because it is what? It will not help us to continue the family tie or the kinship tie. Hence, it is not acceptable. But if people think that biologically they are homosexual, then leave the shores of the land and then go to where it is accepted. But as it stands, we do not accept it. We will not encourage it. That one is not inequality. That one is a taboo. We will not accept it. So kindly look for visa and then move out. People will want to always argue, and let's give them the space. Space where there's no space here for them, but there are spaces out there. Others have accepted it, they've adopted it. So why don't you go to a place where you will be accepted? For us, it's a taboo. No. Eh, Nobody should come and meet me at the end of the class. So this is African studies. And per our African studies, yes, per our custom and tradition. Even if we are in the AI era, fourth industrial revolution era, some people are in the fifth, we are still in the fourth technological era. This is modern Ghana, modern world. It's still not acceptable. Praise the Lord. Okay, family background checks. Before the marriage ceremony takes place, members from one lineage group try to obtain information about the prospective husband or wife. This is done privately to determine whether the man or the woman is worthy of their relative. So in our parts of the world, yes, the marriage is between two families. That is why we don't take it for granted at all. Two families. So which family is the person choosing a partner from? And it takes the help and the support of the other members to do that diligent work. In that time, the one you want to check his background, he doesn't even know his hometown for you. And even if he knows his hometown, that's not where he stays, for you to know the history. So we find our own ways. Let's still use the technology to do that. If you are going out, sometimes once a while, they post that person for people to know that you are going out with this person. For all you know, that person is already married. And you go for that person, and by the time you realize, hey, I never knew he's a married man or she's a married woman, that kind of, which happens to most people, and they end up divorcing. And then a case where someone, murders the partner, check, you get the information, the history. That's that family, they beat women. They say it is their custom. When a man speaks, a woman does not respond, and the woman doesn't reply. If you try reply, you get asumbo. So they will mess you up, beat you up mercilessly. So those things, find out. We ought to find out who we want to get involved with. Find out in your own way. Don't let us be. We say love is blind. Blind sesame. Blind sesame. So there's lots of work to do. Sometimes you go to the person's social media platforms and then check the comments that the person makes per the topic or what has been posted. And you realize that this person is always posting or commenting and insulting leaders. Kind of person are you getting yourself into? Or this person, for that person, if they are talking about gay marriage, the comment that he is not proponent of that. So if you get involved with that person, instead of using the natural way for that kind of sexual activity, some people are also divorcing because the other partner believes in using the unnatural whatever way. And all these, a lot of things are happening in marriages. We ought to, like in time past, they will do their diligent work privately. So in our time to let's do our diligent work where the person was find out how he treats people. If you go out with a person, how does a person treats people? If people are not well dressed, the way the person handles them, the person treats them, the person doesn't respect people. He only or she respects. All those things are very important because at the end of the day, he or she will turn back to give it back to you as it is. So it is important for diligent work. Someone in one of my classes asked, so is it good in our days for parents to choose for the awards? It depends, okay? Sometimes it's our friends. Sometimes friends even, recommend other friends and we accept it. Why do we accept them? But we go into it and you realize that no, it is no go area. You shouldn't have even involved yourself. Why did you trust your friend than parents? So if your parent also recommends someone, your parents, especially parents, they know you. They have trained you from infancy, baby to, so they know your weak areas and your strength and your weaknesses and so on. So if they also recommend someone, I will call it, we say they are choosing for us, not choosing, recommending. So if they also recommend someone, even if they are choosing, take it as a recommendation and then you also take time and find out if the person can fit well to be your partner. Because I don't believe in you accepting recommendations from your friend than your parents or your own siblings or why would you want to trust a friend's recommendation, believe in it so much than your own parents say, oh, it's a cake. How can my parents choose from? They are not choosing, they are recommending. And some parents too, because they are also looking at the family thing and so on and so forth. This family, especially if it comes to it has to do with belief. They don't want to, okay, so this is the family, they are into this belief, we are also into this belief, and it can, that kind of people belief can even affect relationship. Culture can affect relationship. Religion can affect relationship. A lot of things. Sometimes it's like, oh, people are already in love, so all those things do not matter. It's when you get involved, you realize that certain things, some of the things are, unless you have also positioned yourself that whatever the case, I don't care. I know, but it's good to know. I know that this is the person, this is his religion, this is my religion, and I'm still ready to go into it. That one is fine. But not knowing anything, and then you get yourself involved, and then you go into it, and the person says that, yes, I met you in church. We are all Christians, and so on and so forth. But I have a family cultural practice. If we give birth to twins, there are some customs that we need to go through, and the person is taking you to his or her village. Where they are going to give concussion, and they are going to ask you to do certain things, which is, you find it so strange. And in the first place, sometimes you may disagree and argue, and if care is not taken, it can create problem in there. So you get to know who you are getting involved. And once you get yourself involved, let's also learn, let's go for those values: patience, love, care. The person, because he doesn't know how to love, she doesn't know how to love. You have love, give it. Teach, help, support, endure, persevere. Don't endure if it will take your life. That one, run for your life. Other reasons for these family background checks are to find out whether there is a hereditary diseases and so on, so and so forth. Sometimes it can be madness, sometimes it can be all sorts of things. But all these things, if for genuinely, let's say you're a Christian and that family has that history, okay, and you still love the person, you can go in for the person and help the person go through, you kind of say, deliverance and so on and so forth. So you make a stand when you know, then you can take the decision. But if you don't know and it just happened, if care is not taken, it can weaken that relationship. Marriages are maintained by legal connections as well as prescribed economic responsibilities towards wives, children, and if need be, the other kin. There are separate duties, rights and privileges, social sanction, and the reverence required of children and wives. These are the responsibilities that are needed in marriages, and a lot more. But I think it is not the same. It's totally different, because in marriage A, where certain things are challenges, you go to marriage B, and those things are not a challenge, not a challenge at all. So it is arts and skill. You only learn it, be patient, and then learn how you groom it. Let's not be hasty in moving out. Papa, yeah, hey, but you are moving out. There are no angels out there. The first place, angels don't marry. So you going for an angel, that person is not an angel, and you yourself, you are not an angel. So before you point finger at the other partner, let's work on ourselves first. That's what I can say. Work on yourself, and whoever you go for, once you go for the person, there's still work to be done. It's just like you doing your garden. If you don't work always, or you need to always work, moving the whatever, the weeds, spraying it, watering it. It's a lot of work to do. And that's why we say it is not for immature people. It's for mature people, those who are ready. And you are not ready because, oh, all your classmates are getting involved, so you want to get involved. But I think it's also very uh, exciting to, find a good marriage. Nobody finds it. They work at it. Just work at it. Hey, take time, choose rightly, and still work at it, and you will enjoy it. There are terminologies with regards to marriage, and these are monogamy, polygamy, polygyny, polyandry. When the union is made up of just one man and one woman, then we call the marriage is monogamy. When it involves more than two people, okay, it is referred to as what? Polygamy. But the polygamy has subsets. Under it, we have, in a case where it involves an individual is married to more than one person simultaneously. Okay. In polygamy, an individual may be married to more than one person simultaneously. The subset is the polygyny and polyandry. So when a man is married to more than one woman, it is polygyny. it falls under polygamy because polygamy is when more than one person is married to more than two people. But if a man marries more than one woman, then it's polygyny. If a woman marries more than one man, then it's polyandry. I hope it is clear. These things sometimes appear in the objective questions. Polygyny, polyandry, polygamy. End of show. Thank you very much. Few seconds for one or two questions, and then we will channel all the questions to next week when we will have presentation on these topics. But if you have any bothering question and you will not be able to make it to the face-to-face, let's hear you. If you are part of the face-to-face group, if you don't show up, though you have delegates to do the presentation, if you are a member and you don't show up, the grade will not affect you. You will not get the grade. Hello, Cydia. Kabute, please, let's hear you.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Like I heard you mentioning polygyny and polygamy. Am I right?
Sorry, the polygamy.
Yeah, you mentioned something like polygamy and then also polygyny. Polygyny.
Polygamy, the polygyny is when a man is married to more than one woman. And then polyandry is when a woman is married to. But the polyandry is practiced somewhere in the Eastern Africa, the Kenyans and some of them. Let's ask AI. Yes, because I know of Kenya and some of the Eastern African countries, they practice it. In our part of the world, especially in Ghana, we don't practice the polyandry. It's only the polygyny, a man getting married to more than one wife, which we normally call it polygamy. But in distinction,
So
sorry.
that's what I want to clarify the difference between the polygyny and the polygamy.
So, which of the countries practice polyandry or polygyny? Ubisa AI or the Bema why? But we are yet to see. As the Bible said, it's stated in the Bible that a time will come when one woman will only ask more women, about 7 of them they will be pleading, asking one man to be their husbands. We are yet to experience that, but in Ghana, no, we only see one man getting married to more women, but not a woman getting married to more than one man. People, but you see, indirectly, people are doing it. It's not like marriage per se. People have also married, but they don't make it public. That's where you have the site called side chick. Some people are practicing polygyny. Some men. I don't know of a woman, I've never heard of a woman who is practicing polyandry in a part of the world, in Ghana, for instance. But in Ghana, some are doing it, but they are hiding it. So one wife is somewhere in Accra, another one is somewhere in Takoradi, and then they will be doing it. Others are not also doing it like they have legally done it, but then the side chicks and the side calls that they have. Hey, and and the money that they spend on them. All right, so our time is up. Thank you for making it a time to be part of this presentation.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Yes, my question is still not clear. I want to know the difference
sir.
between the polygyny and the polygamy.
You said what?
I want to know the difference between the polygyny and the polygamy.
I said that polygyny, polyandry, they all come under the polygamy. But the distinction is that if a
Okay.
woman, okay, so if a man is married to more than one woman, then we say polygyny, but it's still polygamy. So polygamy is the general term. But if it has to do with a man, in a case where a man is married to more than one woman, then we say it is polygyny. If a woman is married to more than one man, we distinctively, per gender-wise, we say it is polyandry, but they are all polygamy because an individual is married to more than one person.
It's clear now.
All right, thank you. Okay, so thank you very much. God willing, we shall meet face to face next week. Have a fruitful week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Or that going forward, and even then